Joburger that is insanely in love with Johannesburg. Check out his video.
Slap bang in the middle of 1886, right? 130 years ago. This whole place is a highveld, okay? Very dry, denuded of green, all right? No trees whatsoever. And these settlers, all right, these fortune seekers from the Northern Cape, Kimberley, after having found diamonds, right, they trek their way to Johannesburg. They used to call it the Northern Transvaal. And slap bang in the middle of nowhere, really, they find gold. All right, now over there, where that building has lit up, that's Marshalltown. That's Joburg's first residential suburb. After they had discovered gold, they decided to build, you know, houses for themselves where they would live. And it was very close to the reef. They would call it the reef because, you know, it was very rich in gold and that kind of thing. Now, about 4 years down the line after the discovery of gold, all the fortune seekers from the Northern Cape and all the areas around South Africa decide they're going to trek their way to Johannesburg because that's now the new fortune land. That's where all the riches of the country are now residing. Now they get there and they start establishing tent houses, shacks, you know, corrugated iron shacks, and some makeshift structures, you know, to serve as their houses where they would live temporarily whilst they, you know, seek the fortunes. Now, it's recorded in history that after they had established Marshalltown and had amassed enough wealth, they then decided to trek northwards. Now, that's Houghton, Parktown, Parkwood, all the way to Sandton. That's when they decided they were going to build nice mansions for them that would overlook the city that they had built. And this is how Johannesburg looks 130 years later. Joburg, a truly world-class African city.
Slap bang! That is what I have to say. After seeing that amazing video, Joburg today, welcome with me, Lesego Makutu, to our fantastic stage, Lesego Ngobeni. Oh my word, slap bang! That was absolutely phenomenal. I do have to ask, what's with that video?
I don't know. I mean, we had some spare time in the evening just before we all went home, and we decided to goof around. As we always do, you know, with cell phone cameras. And we went to this viewing spot in Yeoville. And it's a very nice viewing, you know, spot for the inner city. And we were taking a couple of pictures. So we then just, you know, instantaneously thought we should probably shoot a video since it was Joburg's birthday on the 4th of October.
Wow. It's actually surprising how a lot of people in South Africa, especially in Joburg, don't even know that we're celebrating the 30th birthday. Like 130 to be corrected, actually. 130th birthday celebration right here in Johannesburg, believe it or not. And well, our researcher kind of mentioned that you aren't really a original Joburger.
No.
You are all the way from Pretoria. How was that relocation for you?
Oh, yo. No, I've lived in Joburg before, and I love Joburg. I thrive on the city and, you know, its energy, and I think the dangerous part of it as well kind of inspires one, you know, to want to become better. But I've never really been fond of living in Joburg.
Oh, okay.
I've really been fond of working in Joburg. Because I believe the best people in Gauteng are the ones that live in Pretoria but work in Joburg. Because, you know, with Gauteng being, you know, the hub of the economy and all these nice activities, you get a feel of both cities when, you know, you live in Pretoria and work in Joburg. But I love Joburg more than most Joburgers.
Yeah, yes.
I suppose that's why, you know, I prefer to plow back my passion for the municipality, you know, and try to make a meaningful contribution. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
it just, yeah, Joburg makes me gaga.
Nice term. Now, speaking of the whole heritage and the culture and the history behind Joburg, what is one of your favorite or most loved historical monuments or heritage portals here in Joburg?
How was I going to evade that question? I don't know. I mean, it's so difficult for me to choose just, one in particular.
Okay.
Because there's quite a lot. I mean, I love the history of Hillbrow.
Oh, wow.
And it's almost unbelievable that, at some point it used to be like a white-only suburb. You know? It's crazy. But I mean, I love the spatial design of Hillbrow, and I think it's got a lot of historical heritage in terms of the development of Joburg and how the people that build the city, were kind of trekking their way around that whole vast, plot stretching to Berea, Yeovil, going into the western edges as well. So it's just
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, but I think for me the Constitution Hill
Yes.
kind of stands out, for obviously the role that it continues to play in terms of the day-to-day running of our country, and the foundation on which the country is based on the Constitution, but also the rich history that's there, in the museum. There's a trail at the Constitution Hill where, you can basically embody what the people went through, before we attained freedom. So I think for me, that must be the single most important heritage site in Joburg. And obviously the Apartheid Museum,
Yes.
the stuff in Soweto. There's just a lot.
There's a lot, right?
The inner city building.